Security is often associated with politics or military protection, but the OSCE's approach goes a step further by adding the concept of a human dimension. This means that countries need to respect human rights not just because it's an obligation, but also to achieve national security. It also means that governments cannot buy political stability or social harmony at the expense of human rights. In the OSCE area, we see numerous examples of small, peaceful religious communities being labeled extremist or dangerous in some way. Why? Because their members exercise their human rights without state permission. They congregate to discuss their religion without official registration. They interpret sacred texts in their own way. They use the language of their text to discuss it. The truth is, however, that their activities do not threaten security in any way. In fact, the state has an obligation to protect these communities that are simply manifesting their freedom of religion or belief. Protection is complicated. On the one hand, international human rights treaties purposefully exclude national security as a legitimate aim of restricting freedom of religion or belief. On the other hand, there are national security limitations that do apply to religious or belief groups. When this right overlaps with freedom of expression or freedom of assembly and association, it can be limited for genuine national security concerns. Belief cannot be used as an excuse to violate state sovereignty or undermine constitutional order. At the same time, states cannot ban religions simply because they differ from the majority religion in a country, which is viewed as the only true faith. Differences matter. For example, establishing people's identity is a legitimate way of protecting public security. But you can't ignore the fact that such a requirement is far more burdensome to some people than to others. If you're a Muslim woman in need of a driving license or a passport, it might be unthinkable for you to remove your headscarf to have your photograph taken, as is required by law in many countries. Most important is whether limitations to the universal right to freedom of religion or belief are proportionate to the goals they're trying to achieve. As the OSCE approach shows us, measures that breach human rights in the name of security may only undermine it.